My name is Martin Mukama. I work with Camtech Uganda. For those that do not know Camtech, Camtech is the consortium for affordable medical technologies. We are a medical technology innovations hub, so we concentrate on medical technologies. So today I'm exhibiting to you Prisims, which is one of the technologies that has come out of the innovation lab, and Prisims is protecting infants remotely by SMS. So the background to Prisims is that you know that in Uganda, the pediatricians are very few. And the pediatricians are the ones who are supposed to care for the sick and at-risk newborns. So we see that the people that are caring for the sick newborns are actually not specialized to make the clinical decisions. So we developed the Prisims technology to guide that care for people that are not specialized. So what a non-specialist doctor has to do is to input the assessment findings. So when you receive a sick baby, you assess the sick baby fully, then you input the assessment findings in Prisims, and Prisims in turn will give you a management plan on how you can care for that sick baby. The management plan has investigations and treatment plan, but it also guides the health work on what to do and how to do it. So if I look at the baby that we have had, maybe we can get closer here. So for example, if I go to Murungi, Murungi is a baby that has existed in Prisims before, and this is the demo account. That's why we are calling it Camtech Uganda Hospital. So if I tap continue, now this is an individualized patient page. Yeah, I can do a new assessment for this sick baby. Yeah, so let's assume that this baby was maybe 2.5 kilograms on assessment. The temperature for this baby was 36. The heart rate maybe was 120. The respiratory rate was 60. The SpO2 was 96. The color was pale. Had some dehydration. The baby was not feeding well. Then capillary fill maybe was normal. There was some chest indrawing. And then the baby was not convulsing, and then jaundice was also absent. So when we submit, at this point we assume that the midwife has already gotten these assessments, isn't it? So when we submit, they are given. So this baby is too old, so Prisims cannot generate a plan for this child. So Prisims is used for babies that are between 1 to 42 days old, according to the WHO guidelines. But this baby, Prisims has detected that this baby is actually above 42 days old, so we cannot generate a plan for this child. So let's pick on another one. Can do NICU still. Let me enter someone who is not there. I want to show you how a plan looks like. 36. So we are going to assess this one. Maybe we say the baby was born, was 1.6 kilograms. The temperature was 36. The heart rate was 120. Respiratory rate was 60. SpO2 was 98. The color was pale. Some dehydration, feeding poorly. Capillary fill was normal. There was no noisy breathing, no chest indrawing. The baby had some convulsions, and the degree of jaundice was absent. Definitely has jaundice. Since the doctor has said so, I'm an engineer. So the baby has some jaundice. So should I do mild jaundice? Moderate. So mild. Okay. So let me submit. So in about 8 seconds, the health worker gets a plan. So for those of us that are health workers, if you read this plan, it guides you on what to do. So we can see the response, the heartbeat, respiration, capillary fill were normal. This baby of ours was a preterm. So preterms are highly vulnerable to infections. The baby was underweight because the baby was 1.6 kgs. So it guides you on what to do. The baby was feeding poorly. The app will guide you on what to do. The baby had, I think, some dehydration. It guides you on what to do. The baby was convulsing. It will guide you on what to do. And then there's some mild jaundice. It also tells you what to do. So this is what we call a primary message. which is a little bit summarized for the health worker to read and then continue with the management for that sick baby. But where you see the blue text, we incorporated in the clinical education components. So for example, if I'm a midwife, but I do not know who a preterm is, if I tap preterm, it will give me a lot of information on preterms, yeah, and what preterms need. And all this information is actually from what? From National Newborn Guidelines and the WHO Newborn Guidelines. So we can pinpoint where we picked it from. It's not from our heads. So once that is done, there are several other things that you can actually do with Prisims. You can look at all your previous management plans for that baby once you're managing them. Because when you're doing ward rounds, you want to keep checking how the baby is actually progressing. You can also monitor growth rate. If the baby has been on ward for some time, you can tell if they're growing well or if they're not growing, so that you can know what to change. And then you can also calculate their feeds. We've seen that this baby was not feeding well. So if you want to give IV fluids, how do you calculate them? That gives challenges to most of the health workers. So if I tap on IV fluids, it will tell me the quantities that I'm supposed to give for this baby. And there are several other things that we can do, but we might not have time to go through all of them. But yes, we are already using it. In Uganda, we are working in about 98 facilities, and we have managed more than 160,000 newborns in Uganda. We have also used it in Tanzania. Yes, in Tanzania, we're doing a study, and the study showed very good outcomes because we reduced mortality in the facilities that we are supporting, and no, we don't have a license yet. It was approved by the National Newborn Committee and the Ministry of Health. A license for the... No, we are now looking for the final approval from Ministry of Health. The National Newborn Committee approved. So the top management, that's where we are going to... Yes. Yes, because we are... No, with the approval of the National Newborn Committee, the steering committee. But that the committee that represents the newborn committee is what, yeah. Yes, but we are working with the health implementing partners who are working closely with the Ministry of Health. So they're the ones that, yes, it's an implementation study, yeah, yeah. The health facility owns the data, and then the Ministry of Health. Yeah, but I wanted to interest you in the... We haven't started working with... they have to pay. There's a subscription to it. Yeah. They have to pay to use it. Yeah. Okay, so there's something else I wanted to show you, which is how we use the data for quality improvement. So the health workers will use the technology to guide their the clinical decisions, but at the back end, the facility uses this data for quality improvement in the facility. So this is the dashboard that aggregates all the data from the devices that are in the hospital. Okay, so at this level you can tell so many things, but I wanted you to look at the quality indicators. So if I try to filter, let's try this. I want to filter data for this month. So this one uses internet, that's why it's taking long, but the app can work offline. When there is internet, then it synchronizes the data. No, with the current version that we have for Prisims, they don't have to. Because you have a complete patient file. It's because we didn't go through the... Mm. Yes. Mm. Yeah. Okay. So this is the quality improvement report that is generated. So for this quality improvement report, there are so many indicators that we can see on how the facility is performing, and that can inform the different changes on how they can improve quality of care in those in the facility that Prisims is working in. Yeah. Thank you so much. I need to hand over. Mm.